Greetings and salutations. How the devil art thou? Hopefully you're keeping well and keeping safe. Now, as you can see in front of me, I have all 4 issues of my mini-series Ed Gein Demon Hunter. As I mentioned, written by myself, illustrated by the incredibly awesome and extremely talented Christian Rossi, who you will know from such books as Trespasser from Alterna Comics. You'll also have seen his name on the cover to Sergeant Rock vs. the Army of the Dead by DC Comics. He is the man responsible for drawing this 4-issue miniseries. Now, these aren't here just to look pretty. No, of course not. I want to teach you something about writing comics that I feel is overlooked, if mentioned at all. And what better way to do that than to actually give you an example of it in action? What I'm talking about is individual issue titles, or in this case, chapter titles. Because you see, when you work on an ongoing series, chances are you're going to write a story arc that will go across more than 1 issue. It could go across 2 issues, 3 issues, 4 issues, or even more. In that instance, you will name the story arc, and in the covers, on the inside covers, it'll probably say story arc name part 1, story arc name part 2, story arc name part 3, and so on. With this book, I wanted to do something a little different, because yes, these are individual issues, but they felt to me like they were chapters. So instead of calling it issue 1, or part 1, or part 2, or part 3, or part 4, I decided to go with chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, and chapter 4. But here's the thing. When you hand over an individual issue, or even an entire miniseries to a reader, you are promising them an experience from beginning to end. Now, I want you to think about this. If you're at a convention and you've got these books on a table, they're already experiencing something, the cover and the title. Okay, you put a lot of time into the title, you put a lot of time, or your artist puts a lot of time into producing eye-catching covers that depict a part of the story, that depict the core of what's happening in each individual issue, and then your reader opens up the book, they see the interior cover, and it just says, part 1. All of a sudden, that experience is kind of tainted for them. It's a bit like getting a selection box of chocolates and you open it up and you go, oh, beautiful, there's some dark chocolate here, there's some milk chocolate here, there's a caramel one, I love caramel, oh, brilliant. And then you get to the coffee cream. Now, I do appreciate that there's probably someone watching this video who's going to hear that and go, I love the coffee creams. Yeah, okay, you're the exception to the rule. That's fine. You're welcome to your taste. I'm not going to knock you for it. My point is, when you get a selection of chocolates, there is one in there that you're like, oh man, that sucks. And even though you enjoy the majority of the selection, that one last review, you finish the box and you're like, yeah, that was good, but the fucking coffee cream, and you can't get it out of your head for a bit. And that's natural. That happens to all of us. And it's the same thing when you offer the reader an experience. You're giving them a book, you're giving them a mini series, you're giving them an issue. You're saying to them, you're going to have a great experience, or at least I hope you do. I want you to have a great experience. And then they get to that part, and it's a minuscule thing, but it will taint the experience for them. So we really should put a little bit of time into naming the individual issues of our mini-series, of our story arc, whatever. In this case, it was a 4-issue mini-series. Like I said, chapter 1, 2, 3, and 4, but they all had their individual titles. And I wanted these titles to fit 2 pieces of criteria. The first of the 2 pieces of criteria is I wanted the title to give the reader a little taste of what they could expect in each individual issue. It had to relate to what was going on in each individual issue. Issue 1 was titled Nothing to Gain. Issue 2 was titled 3 for Flinching. Issue 3 was titled The Wait, and issue 4 was titled Deadache. Why were they called this? Well, spoiler, because I am going to spoil a bit of the story now for you. However, if you are interested in reading Ed Gein Demon Hunter, take a look in the description box down below. It's a link to my website, and over there, if you sign up to my mailing list, you will, as a token of my appreciation, receive a free PDF copy of Ed Gein Demon Hunter issue 1. So please feel free to take advantage of that. I would if I was in your shoes. Nothing to Gain tied into the story because this is the part of the story where Satan has approached Ed and said, I need a demon hunter. Ed would get nothing out of this. Therefore, he would have nothing to gain or nothing to gain. In 3 for Flinching, chapter 2, which is titled 3 for Flinching, this is the moment where Ed discovers who the demon was or who the demon is, and it scares him. It sends a chill down his spine. It freezes him, and that demon starts to beat him. And when doing so, we actually see why. We have a little flashback moment. 3 for Flinching. It makes sense. Well, at least it does in my twisted little mind. It might not in yours, but trust me, when you read the book, you'll understand. Now, issue 3 was titled The Weight. And that's because this is the part of the story where Ed realizes he is carrying a huge weight on his shoulders, that in order to succeed in his mission of capturing this deranged demon and taking him back to hell before they can destroy everything in existence, he has to discard that weight that he is carrying. And then issue 4, Dead Egg. This is the bit that I'm not going to spoil too much, if at all, because it's kind of a poignant moment in the entire story. But there is at least 1, if not 4 panels where you'll be like, oh, that's why he called it Dead Egg. It's not just a play on words, it has a double meaning. However, that wasn't the only criteria for choosing the individual titles for each individual issue. The other criteria was, and you've probably guessed it because you've already seen the thumbnail and the title to this video, it's a music connection. You see, Ed Gein inspired a lot of horror movies. He was the inspiration for Norman Bates in Psycho, and for Buffalo Bill in Silence of the Lambs, and Leatherface in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and several others. But what doesn't often get talked about is how he inspired music. That's right, each individual issue and its title is named after a song that was written about Ed Gein. Nothing to Gain was a song written by the band Mudvayne, which appeared on their album LD50. 3 for Flinching is part of a title for a song by the Dillinger Escape Plan. Now, with this particular one, I had a bit of trouble because I knew that Nothing to Gain was written about Ed Gein. I knew that these two were written about Ed Gein. This one, there are some sources that say that the song was written about Ed Gein, but not many. But hey, I made an executive decision and went, you know what, there's at least 1 or 2 sources that say that it was, and it relates to what's happening in the issue. So I called it 3 for Flinching, even though the full title of the song is 3 for Flinching, Revenge of the Porno Clowns. I decided to discard that last bit and just called it 3 for Flinching. Issue 3, well, I was going to call it something else. You see, there's this artist called Amigo the Devil, and he wrote 2 songs about Ed Gein. One of them was called The Weight, the other was called The Recluse. However, The Recluse as a title, I don't think it tied in well with what was happening in this part of the story. Not only that, it's a song that is only partially about Ed Gein. It does have a deeper and more personal meaning to the artist. However, his song The Weight, that is completely about Ed Gein, and it suited what's going on in the story. So I went with that one. And the very last one, Dead Egg, was written by the band Lordi. That's right, those madmen who were on Eurovision Song Contest doing the song Hard Rock Hallelujah, dressed up in all their makeup and bat wings and looking creepy as fuck. That was an awesome time. It's named after a song that they wrote about Ed Gein. And like I said, when you read issue 4, you'll understand why that fits in. So that's the little secret that I held in each individual title, because it's all part of the experience. It's more than just opening up the book and getting started. You're opening up the book. You see that it's got its own individual chapter title. That has something to do with the part of the story that you're about to read. And if you're a true crime person, you're going to like the fact that it's not just something that gives you a little glimpse into what you're about to read, the part of the story you're about to read. It's a little Easter egg that you can look into. It's a little something that if you get enough people reading the book and they really get into it, it's something that they can talk about with each other. They can turn around and say, hey, did you know that each issue is named after a song that was written about Ed Gein? So what I'm trying to say is this. We often sit down and go, just throw any old title at it if we have to. But you have several opportunities in your book to enhance the experience for the reader. Think about it as going to a restaurant and ordering a meal. Maybe you order chicken. And if the chicken turns up and it's just chicken, well, it's nice. It's tasty food. You're going to enjoy it unless you're vegan. But it's that little bit better if they add a bit of sauce to it, if they add a bit of spice to it. And that's what you're doing with the individual titles for your individual issues. You're adding a little bit of spice to the reader's meal. So next time you're working on a book and you have more than one chapter or more than one issue, okay, at the beginning, you don't have to perfect a title for it straight away. Focus on the story. That is the main thing you should be focusing on straight away. But once the story is written, do not think that your job is over yet. Take some time. Think about the reader's experience and just go that little step further. It won't hurt, I promise you. In fact, it'll make you stand out from the rest. More people will enjoy the book and they will come back wanting more. So that's it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it and I hope you've learned a little something from it. And please, if you feel that anyone can benefit from this video, then please share it with them. I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to stop you. And like I said, if you are interested in reading Ed Gein Demon Hunter, head on over to my website. The link is in the description box down below and sign up to my mailing list. It's very simple. Turn up to my website, go to any page on it, scroll right to the bottom, very small form with a bright red subscribe button. Fill in, click, that's it. You are signed up. You will receive an email where you will be given your free PDF digital copy of Ed Gein Demon Hunter issue 1 as a token of my appreciation. Hey, I think you should take advantage of it, but it's completely up to you. I won't think less of you if you don't. And don't worry, if you do take advantage of it, you won't get spammed. On top of that, if you are interested in hearing the songs that were the inspiration for titling each issue of Ed Gein Demon Hunter, I've also left links down below to where you can find those songs on YouTube. That's it for now. I will be back soon with another video, hopefully, fingers crossed, unless something gets in the way, but hopefully that won't happen. And until then, take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Stay safe in those shadows, but most importantly, I cannot express this enough. Stay awesome.